now. Does anybody? Is anybody got an inkling? Does anybody want to try and pull something here with Steven for the first overall pick, or shall we just get the inevitable out of the way?
I think that is probably the easiest choice in the entire draft.
Yeah, sure.
I think so. Yeah, so I'll start the draft here, and then Steven, I'm just going to hover over a name, but yeah, is this? Are you going to shock us, or are you going to go?
Well, you know what? They might want to do a trade with the Steelers for one of their QBs.
Well, this is it. It's like, they might have just thought, hang on, we've probably got a bad idea here. What were we thinking? But yeah, no, I think it's pretty obvious, isn't it? So they're basically going after one guy, and it seems to be like the only Spencer Rattler. So no, only joking. Only joking. Yeah, it's Caleb Williams, isn't it? It's like the Caleb Williams draft. Essentially, they traded Justin Fields to a certain team that I've forgotten the name of, and you know, everything's lined up really. So yep, Caleb it is, I think.
Caleb Williams, indeed. Yeah. So here he goes off the board. Chicago Bears draft Caleb Williams. Okay, Gav. So now you really start the draft here with the Commanders, but I've got a feeling I know where you're going to go with this.
Well, I think everyone does, because at the moment the Commanders have a starting Marcus Mariota. Then they've got Jeff Driscoll and Jake Fromm at quarterback. So I think they're pretty much going quarterback. Now, most of the sort of draft Illuminati seem to like Drake May. I'm not a big fan of Drake May. I think he chases games and could be a bit of a bust. So with me at the helm, I'm going to go after the rushing upside of Jaden Daniels. So the Washington football team are going to select Jaden Daniels there out of LSU quarterback.
Fabulous. I mean, look where he's ranked here on PFF as well. 21 on the PFF.
Insane, isn't it?
Crazy stuff. We've made ranked 3. So no, I'm totally on board with you on that, Gav. To be honest, I was kind of hoping you might do an old switcheroo to make it nice for my Patriots, but no. It's not going to happen. So Jaden Daniels drafted to the Washington Commanders there. So I kind of undenied about this pick for the Patriots, and I was going to potentially pose the question to you, would it be fair, because I also have the Vikings picks, of me doing the trade myself for the Vikings to go up to the Patriots? But ultimately, after kind of listening to a few more bits and bobs over the last couple of days, I've got a feeling that while I think the Vikings might really like Drake May, and I know there's some history with some coaches back there as well, ultimately, I think the Patriots are going to stick here. I think they absolutely need a QB.
Yeah.
I think they need to. I don't think they're going to risk going back, even if they could pick up somebody that I really like in JJ McCarthy. But I think ultimately the Patriots are going to be sold on one man, and that is going to be Drake May. So rather boringly, with the third pick, the Patriots are going to take Drake May. So
well, I think, you know what? I think the Patriots will be very happy with that. I think that's actually what they prefer.
Yeah.
I think there was. I think that May's performance might not be perfectly indicative of why he might be so suitable for the Patriots. I think that in the last year, North Carolina had special advisor, volunteer offensive analyst, they called him.
Volunteer?
A guy by the name of Clyde Christensen. Now, this guy has been a coach since 1979 in various capacities, including for the Buccaneers as a quarterback coach on several occasions, including when a certain Brady was there, and he was the quarterback coach when they won the Super Bowl. So this guy knows what he's doing, and if Brady would have him as his quarterback coach, that means he knows what to do with these guys. And I think working with him, the preparation for the NFL put him in a very good stead, and I think he'll be perfectly suitable for the Patriots. So I think the Patriots would prefer it this way rather than the other way.
Well, thank you for backing up my my pick there. I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, I was planning to say it regardless if it was the other way around, because I do think that is the better way,
The better
correct way
fit,
of doing
you
it.
think,
Yes.
for them,
Yes.
rather
Yeah.
than because. Yeah, it seems weird to think of the Patriots with a running QB like Jaden Daniels, doesn't it? After Tom Brady, obviously they tried Cam Newton, that didn't work out. But yeah, interesting.
New regime there, so who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe new beginnings all round. Yeah, we're up to you now, Ran, with the Arizona Cardinals. Where are you going to take us here?
Well, if it was up to me, I'd go Roma Dunze.
I mean, it is up to
seems-
you, really. Like,
Yeah, it is, but I'm kind of thinking Mr. Jonathan Gannon is having his puppy eyes looking at me, whimpering, saying, "Please, please." I think they'll go with a certain Marvin Harrison Jr.
with this man right here.
Yeah, the thing is, I think they're in prime position to trade. And looking at various drafts, a lot of people think they would trade, especially with the Vikings. The Broncos, they need the QB as well. They might want to trade up, but they've got nothing to offer. The Broncos got nothing to offer.
I don't really understand the whole trade back with the Cardinals because they've got 11 picks.
Exactly.
It's like, at some point, you just need to make the picks. Make the premium picks. They've got like 6 in the top 100. So it's like, what would trading back really do? Just accrue more picks. I mean, essentially, it's just at the end of the day, just pick the best players of it that you've got, like scraping you in the face. And I think you're right. Yeah, with Marvin Harrison there.
Yeah, if there's a team that need 22 new players, I guess it might be the Arizona Cardinals. But this is not the way to do it. Yeah.
Well, listen, they've got Kyler Murray signed. He's got 3 more years left on his contract. He's earning a lot of money. They're not doing too bad. Buda Baker, Trey McBride, they're not in a bad place. They're not in a win now situation. So they're not. This trade is not going to make them a contender. They still need a couple more drafts. But will they pass on this one? I don't think so. I think they will stick and take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. I'm not going to push for a trade here if I'm the Vikings. So yeah, Cardinals taking Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's the kind of consensus move that's going to happen there. So yeah, there he goes, Marvin Harrison Jr. off here. Now the Chargers at 5.
Yes.
So we're back to you here, Stephen. And
yeah,
I'm going to hold off here. I'm not going to push it with the Vikings here. This might be a place where they potentially could go up.
Yeah.
And I know there's talk about the Chargers going back, but personally, like looking at the teams I've got in my draft, I'm going to hold back on here. I don't need to.
Are you in charge of the Chargers, Mark?
No, you're in charge of the Chargers.
No, sorry, I mean the Vikings.
Oh, the Vikings. Yes, I'm in charge of the Vikings. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Because I was going to say, like, does anyone want to charge? Does anyone want to trade with me? Particularly the Vikings, but okay.
No,
okay.
I'm all right on the Vikings. I mean, I don't know, Ran, you've got the Broncos. I don't know if you want to try and muster something together, despite the fact you have no second-round pick.
Don't really have anything.
I think the Broncos are going to sit this out. So I'm going to wait.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
There's an alternative one here that I've got.
Yeah.
That I mean, what would a draft be if you didn't have a questionable Raiders pick in the first round? So I'm thinking I could potentially have a trade with myself here with the Raiders.
That would be a very cheap phone call,
wouldn't it? Would.
Now, I would point your attention to the fact that they do have the one and only Aiden O'Connell on that.
I know the love, yeah. But I don't know. I think with all it seems very Raidersy to do this. With all the talk of a certain QB, I think I might do it.
I mean, ultimately, if you did stick here, like, what would it be neighbours? Would it be old? What would you do here? If
so, do you want to know why I'd trade back with the Chargers?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, they need picks, basically. They need quite a bit. I said Cardinals have like 6 in the top 100. Chargers have only got 3 in the top 100, and when you've got like Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman coming in, they're going to try and change the whole philosophy of this team. They were a finesse team for so long, but I think they're going to be a proper, want to be strong up front, pound the ball, pretty much almost like Michigan,
Old-fashioned football.
Yeah, and get quite. So it's a different philosophy. So I'm just thinking, and plus I could take Joe Alt here, but ultimately you've got Rashawn Slater left tackle, and he was a Pro Bowler in his first year. So and doing a second year All Pro. So I'm never a fan of like switching sides of tackles. I never really understand that. I never really get the just because you're really athletic means you can play both sides. I think it's kind of like, if you're left-handed or if you're right-handed, you're not necessarily left-handed as well. You're not ambidextrous. So I don't know. I just don't really like go for that. So I think I might move back with this one to where the Raiders are.
Okay. Let's just have a check and see if you would have.
Because I think...
we'll have to force this one through.
And the Raiders going to move up the board and then draft Xavier Worthy with the move.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I think... I forgot the name of the really tall one.
Which one?
The wide receiver.
Thomas?
Michael Thomas.
Or Keon
No,
Coleman.
Brian Thomas, even.
There was one that was like 7 foot tall or something.
No.
All right.
They would think that it might be a tight end, but he is definitely.
Johnny Wilson.
That's the one. Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, they go up and get
6'6". There we go. I found my note. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fairly Raidersy. I think you would have to force the trade on this one if you were to go for it, because they're not part of the thing here. But what sort of compensation?
So if it was like 5 and like just their first 3 picks, I think that goes to about 80-something%. I think. Or does it not allow you to do it?
Well, because they're not on here as being a trade, because the Vikings are. But we can force the trade through if you feel, because obviously we're not doing the rest of the round, so that's fine. So we've kind of got freedom there. So do you think you would take that? I guess it probably would take that much.
Yeah, I would take that. I think because you've got what have they got? They've got the. Let's have a look. Draft. Oh,
yeah, I mean, as you say, 5, 37, and 69.
Yeah, so you got the 44 in the middle, and
77,
yeah.
That would be nice. Does anyone have any sort of aversion to this draft?
No, happy to see that through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at my notes about the Broncos, and I can see there's slight caveat here. There has been rumors that Greg Payton might not survive very long after the draft. So I'm just wondering if they'll try to do something adventurous here. But it's hard to see because it's not worth it.
Well, they've already done the most adventurous thing in the world in getting former second overall pick Zach Wilson, he says through gritted teeth.
And trading away all their picks for Russell Wilson was pretty adventurous.
Yeah.
Swashbuckling, you might say.
They need to be boring. If a team needs to be boring, it's the Broncos, right?
That's what I'm thinking. They're gonna sit this out and hopefully tank. We're not allowed to say that. Not do very well, and then get better picks next year.
Well, there's a lot of like consensus that either Broncos or the Jets are going to trade up, but that neither of them have got like a second round pick. So it's like I don't know how they're trading, whether it's future picks. It's going to
be future, yeah. It's going to be 2025.
The Chargers wouldn't really go for that because they're kind of building for now. So it's I don't know. It's an odd one, really, but I'm just pointing the Raiders because I just think it could be a potential Raidersy thing to do, and I like those picks. So
okay, all right. Well, let's do that then. I'll force the trade through. So the Raiders are now on the clock, and I assume then you are going to take Bo Nix with the.
That's what I was thinking. Well, I wasn't thinking, but it was like that. As someone like really stretching for Michael Penix. Because they think the Giants are going to go for him or something.
We joke about that. I could easily see the Raiders do something like that. Yeah. And I don't hate Penix, but like that would just be ridiculous. But Okay, yeah. So going up here to 5, and I'm guessing it's going to be JJ McCarthy then for the Raiders.
Well, I think so, because it just of the consensus really of like the ordering of everything. Yeah, and it's just the next one in. He's the 4th QB, isn't it, that people are going for? It's interesting that what is it? The chatter saying like he's getting too much buzz for like doing very little in that Michigan offense, and you're kind of going blind because he didn't show you that much, and he didn't. It was impressive. Impressive like what he can do, but he wasn't asked to do too much, and he wasn't asked to do too much in that, like be the man in that Michigan team. And it's like, are the Raiders gonna in this scenario? Are the Raiders?
He wasn't asked to do much, but he did it very well.
He did it very well, yeah. But it's like, it seems like JJ McCarthy's trying to be like, if you were if there was a team that wanted to like draft him, they'd like just sit him back and let him learn and under like have a good system in place. Whereas I don't think he'd get that, unfortunately, with the Raiders. They'd want him to try and be the guy quite early on, and I think that might harm him. But yeah. So that being said, let's just go with JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy it is then to Las Vegas. So yeah, we are now with the Giants, which is back to you, Gav.
Yeah, I think a phone just got thrown across the room in the draft room. I think they were hoping that JJ McCarthy was going to fall here. So
was it the fax? Was the fax?
Yeah, the fax was thrown. Yeah, the obvious pick here is to take a tackle. I think Joe Alt's on the board there. That would be a very sensible pick. But I think that last minute doubts here, because looking at the roster, yes, they're starting Jermaine Illuminor, but they've got Evan Neal there in the second.
But people seem to have fallen out of favour with Evan Neal.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if they suddenly think, look, we took Evan Neal high. Let's just see if we can work out. Obviously, we've got Andrew Thomas on the other side. So I think they're thinking about going a different way here under my stewardship. So being a personal fan of Roma Dunze, he's very high on the board here. And then the other option is cornerback, because although, yes, they've got Deontay Banks, right cornerback, who I think is going to turn out to be a fantastic corner. They've got Nick McLeod at left cornerback.
Yeah.
So they could be looking at a cornerback here. So this is a tough one. I think this is a draft day decision. There's 3 ways they can go, all with good picks. But I think ultimately I think they're going to go for the wide receiver, because they're going to go for Roma Dunze, because they've got Jalen Hyatt they took early last year. He's a deep threat. They've got Darius Slayton, another deep threat, and then they've got Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot, who's kind of like a sort of jitterbuggy type. They haven't really got that sort of pure number one.
They haven't for a long time.
No, possession receiver, contested catches, can separate. So I think Roma Dunze is that guy and more. So yes, it's going to be Roma Dunze, please, for the New York Giants. And they finally get a number one receiver.
Who's going to throw the ball at him?
Well, they'll deal with that.
Spencer Rattler, probably.
Maybe.
So, yeah, Roma Dunze going to the Giants at number 6 there for Gav. So this is very easy for me from the Tennessee Titans. I think this is a lock. I think unless the Chargers stick there and decide to go for him, or the Giants decide that that's the route, that they want to go, then, 100% for me. Easy as you like. The best tackle in the draft, I think. Joe Alt, Tennessee Titans. Easy as you like. No hesitation on that one. The Falcons. Now, this was, I will say, Ran, this was going to be a Vikings potential trade position for me if McCarthy was still on the board. But I think I'm going to hold off on now. I think now that McCarthy's off the board, I don't think there's any need for the Vikings to come up here. So I've got no sort of way I want to go with drafting up for you. So I don't know if anybody else wants to come up to 8 at all.
I don't think there's any point. The phone is not even plugged in. Well, look, there's a new coach. There's a whole new system there.
Yeah.
There's a new regime. There's a new guy in charge. They've just signed a new QB. We've got Kirk Cousins in the house. They've got so many tools there. maybe it'd be nice to finally see Bijan Robinson doing things. Luckily, they got rid of that coach. It was terrible. Who would hire him? But I mean, they're doing. I think they will be the team to watch next year. I think they've got a really good setup there. Well, I was after the QB coach, Zach Robinson. I thought he should have been in the Steelers' house. I think it would have been fantastic there. They've got 34 coaches, 34 on the roster, 34. They've got everything covered. And I think, well, they need a few things, but I think edge is the one they're after. And the two options here is Dallas Turner or Niatu Latu. There's not much between them. One with a good upside, one more ready to go. I think Latu will be the man.
Okay.
I think he's more ready to go, and the coach being a defensive coach, I think he'd like him.
So you don't think the Falcons are going to have? I mean, Latu's my favourite edge in this whole class, but you don't think they're going to have any sort of concerns about the neck?
I don't think so. I think that'll be their man.
Okay.
I do think that'll be their man.
Okay, so Latu to the Falcons. I love that pick, to be honest. I think that's a great shout for the Falcons.
I feel like he should be the first edge off the board, really. So he looks so polished.
Yeah. No, I would totally agree. I understand the concerns if teams are a little bit wary of it, but at the same time, he is the best. I think he is the best edge in this whole class. So I would love to see him be the first off the board, which makes this next pick very interesting for the Bears then, because edge was one of these potential needs. Obviously, you've just taken Caleb Williams for the Bears there, Stephen. So are you going to partner him up with the remaining top wide receiver on the board here, or do you fancy going elsewhere?
It's an interesting one because, I've got three options here. I'm thinking they probably need a left tackle to go opposite Darnell Wright. So Olu Fashanu's there. I think, is he? Yeah.
He's there. Yeah.
I think by all accounts they're after Roma Dunsier as Caleb's extra weapon. So I mean, Malik Nabers is definitely isn't the worst next option.
He's my favorite. He's my number one wide receiver in this whole draft. Fell down here. That's incredible.
But I'm also looking at D tackle, where their room at the minute is. I mean, they have invested a lot on the defense, but they've got Javon Dexter, which I think around these corners had a bit of a controversial. Was it last draft? Or
last draft, yeah. Some say he's still getting off now off the
line. So they got him. They've got Andrew Billings, who's getting up in age, and they've got Zach Pickens, who's still a project waiting to happen, really. But so I'm looking at Johnny Newton here in this situation.
Oh yes,
and just making that just a really nice. They need some kind of solidified, person in that middle, just causing havoc. Oh yeah, I'm thinking that. I think
you're gonna go Johnny Newton.
Well, they've got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, haven't they? And this wide receivers room so deep. I mean, the Bears probably don't turn Malik Nabers down, but this is my draft, so sod
it. Well, there is the other thing as well. I mean, you want to talk about a team with no picks? The Bears have 4 picks in this whole draft, and 2 of them are in the top 10.
True.
I mean, I can't really.
But they've got all the needs. They have got all the needs other than wide receiver. And they have got the 2 wide receivers there, so. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Steelers there at 20, but
75.
If nobody's really eager to go up, I mean, I don't think I've got anybody ultimately that I would go. Well, if you're going to go D tackle, I might have something in a bit, but yeah, ultimately, I don't think I need to go up to 9. Does anybody else want to go up to 9? Or
I'm okay. I'm standing pat with the Jets.
Yeah. I just have a feeling that they're not going to trade. They've got a great opportunity here, and I think they're going to stick there.
Yeah, take two absolute studs. So
Yeah.
I mean, I would love this pick. I know a lot of people are higher on Murphy, but I absolutely love Johnny Newton.
I prefer Newton myself, but I can
Yeah.
understand the consensus of like Byron Murphy going first, but I think Newton stood out a few seasons ago, didn't he? And everyone was like, "Well, he's going to be high up on the rankings," and then other ones came to fruition. I think Byron Murphy and that, but Johnny Newton's just something else for me. So yeah, I think I'll go with that pick.
Fabulous. Okay, Johnny Newton, you are a Chicago Bear.
That's good.
Big pick. So Gav, you're back up with the Jets now.
Yeah. So
now,
the Jets.
Now,
why?
Gav,
Do you want to trade here?
I kind of do. And the team that I want to trade with is in this trade section here. Kind of feel. How would you feel about the Colts coming up 5 spots here?
Interesting, because I was going to say that the Jets here, like the sensible pick, they're kind of in win now mode. You look at their roster, pretty strong starting 22.
Yeah.
You can see they've got their tackles, while being very good, are up there in age in Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. So the sensible thing to do for the Jets is probably to draft a tackle and look to the future. However, they've got Aaron Rodgers in the building, so that makes them very much a win now team. So there's a player on the board that I think could give them a lift in terms of win now. So if I'm thinking what the Jets would do, they're going to take that guy. So I think the offer's got to be pretty strong here, because I think they're pretty excited about bringing this guy in.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, this is because I've got eyes on something here. So for the Colts here, so let's see. Let's kind of take this out. This is just going to be between me and you here, Gav. So let's see. So we've got 10 and 15 here. Let's see. 5 picks up to get into the back end of the top 10. I'll throw 46 in there. I mean, it's already saying it's got a 51% chance to be accepted here, so we might have to force trade if you want more.
I just don't think the Jets want to trade out of this pick. I think they're in such win now mode, and I think this player is possibly right at the top of their board, and they're thinking they're getting like a top 3 pick here. So I just don't think they're going to make this trade. Sorry.
I could see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm reluctant to give up 82 as well.
Because the way that the Jets will be looking at this is, if we trade back, yes, we can fill up some roster spots here, but what we really want is a guy to push us over the edge and put Aaron Rodgers into the Super Bowl. That's where they are.
And with the board the way it could potentially fall, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for the Colts to stay where they are. All right, okay, yeah. If you're pretty adamant that the Jets,
I'm pretty adamant. I think in this scenario, with the way it's gone, I'm looking at the Jets roster. I think they'd be banging the table for Brock Bowers there to come in.
100%.
Yeah.
To give Aaron Rodgers 100%. Another target over the middle. I mean, they got Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert. I really like Ruckert. They're good, solid tight ends, but they're not got the upside that Brock Bowers does.
No. Yeah, so I mean, my number one player in this whole draft, Brock Bowers.
Exactly. So I think if you're looking, rather than if you're looking at getting picks or you're looking at getting a blue chip player, I think because they're win now, they're looking at getting that blue chip player. So I think they're going to stand pat and draft Brock Bowers, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I absolutely understand that decision. There's no problem at all.
I mean, at Georgia, he was the number 1 target.
For 3 years. Well. I mean, he did it for 3 years. It's no coincidence.
So, was it? Is that Adonai Mitchell that left Georgia to Texas?
Yeah.
Because I thought, right, there's no way I'm getting any catches here. So it's
two national titles, number 1 target.
100%. Yeah, 100%. By the way, chaps, have you ever had a look at the Jimmy Johnson draft trade value chart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 10 is 1,300 points, and he wanted 40. What was the option?
Oh, I think it was
15. So 5.
15 and 44. I think was this.
It was 15 is 1,050 and 44 Yeah, that would have done it.
Would have
That would
done
have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these two would have done it.
But
Then
when you got Brock Bowers in the conversation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that who you were coming up to take there, Mark?
I'm not going to say.
Not going to reveal. Keep your cards close to your chest.
No, I will keep them close to my chest. Now, with the Vikings here, they have not got the chance to get JJ McCarthy. They've kind of balked at it, and then the Raiders have gone and made a big move.
Sorry, Mark.
Vikings have blown this draft, haven't they? They've blown it.
Well, I mean, they come up to 11 and 23, and then don't move out of 11. Well, I don't know if they've necessarily blown it. So they are a team that could do with an edge rusher. And they could hold on here. They've still got the 23rd pick. I think ultimately, yeah.
You think Penix is a reach here?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking Penix at this point. I do think, as much as I like Penix, and as much as I think there is a big possibility he could go here, I think it's just a bit too rich for my blood. So ultimately, I think I'm going to take Dallas Turner here for the Vikings. I think a little bit of edge help would be absolutely fine for them. I think that's what they need. As unsure as I am about Dallas Turner, and as much as I like Jared Verse, I do think Turner could give the Vikings something that's a well-needed boost that they need. So I'm going to go for Dallas Turner in this position. I'm going to have the Vikings stick at 11. And then we'll see what happens with 23 from there. So the Broncos are now on the clock. So we are back to you, Ran. So what are the Broncos going to do here?
Can we trade with someone so I can get 11 players? How much is that going to cost? Well, this is tough. I mean, they put themselves in such a tough position. They lost 5 starters. I mean, Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, their center, safety Simmons. They need players in almost every position. But there's something I can't ignore. Malik Neighbors is still available?
It's mad, isn't it? How has Malik Neighbors fallen all the way to 12 here? That is insanity.
I was potentially looking at Bo Nix.
Bo Nix at 12?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's... Whew.
Well, they need a quarterback. I mean, someone's going to...
Desperation, isn't it, from Sean Payton?
I know. Well, someone's going to push Zach Wilson.
Sorry.
Make him feel uncomfortable. Sit behind him. And, I'm just going to go Malik Neighbors. I think
it's sensible. Yeah,
can't be ignored.
Yeah, absolutely sensible.
It's not on my notes. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, there's no way in the world he's going to fall here. I didn't even think about it.
If Neighbours falls anywhere like around here, and truth be told, I think that's really what I was coming up for 10 for the Colts to get. To be perfectly honest with you, if Neighbours falls anywhere near outside the top 10, there'll be teams absolutely hammering the phone to these guys around here, trying to get.
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking possibly a corner could be a good option here.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, the Broncos are in dire need of so much, but
but if Malik Neighbors is there,
it's got to be done. Yeah, what a steal that would be for the Broncos. So Malik Neighbours at 12 for the Broncos. So now the Chargers are here now, Stephen. How are you going to approach it? Nobody wants to trade up here, as you can see.
Yeah.
So where did the Chargers go with their pick ultimately?
Well, before I start, seeing as this is a Steelers-orientated group, what's the consensus? Are we supposed to be letting players drop to us? Or?
Absolutely not. No, we're doing this in good faith.
No.
So,
all in good faith.
There's no cheating here.
That's fine.
Otherwise, we'd let Malik Neighbours keep falling. So
yes, I have the Steelers pick. So
exactly, yeah. There's no good faith here.
No,
100%. There's no good faith here.
Yeah,
that's fine. Well, my thinking anyway was so don't get a receiver, move off Joe Alt and go for a right tackle. So and I'm quite happy because I want to pick Fuaga in this spot.
Yes, yeah.
It was a toss up between him and Latham, but I think Fuaga just gives you that. If they want to get nasty up front, it's the nastiest kind of tackle on the board, really.
He is.
And
I can't
players,
believe PFF don't have OT as a need here for them. That's, I suppose, because you said they've got Slater and
they've got many
Yeah.
needs, but
Yeah.
they've got who is it? Trey Pipkins, yes, at right tackle, which is fine. But Jim Harbaugh said he wants all linemen in his presser. They want to run the ball. They want to change the philosophy of the whole team. So
exactly. Yeah.
I think they probably will go for Alt in the end and try and shift him over or move Rashawn Slater. I just think it's a bad idea. I just think keep him in the same places and get a right tackle. There's plenty of them, and this is one of the best ones. So Fuaga for me, please.
Absolutely perfect shout there. My Red
think
Star
there's-
tackle.
There are very, very few evaluators out there that have seen the potential in the players in college football more than Harbaugh. I mean,
Yeah,
he's been there. He knows. So he's got a plan and he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
So
that's probably another reason why a good reason for trading back as well, because he wants to acquire so many of these as well. So it's like,
Exactly, yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think Fuanga's floor would actually be here with the Saints. So, Gav, now that Fuanga's off the board, is there anywhere you're looking in particular for the Saints?
Well, yeah, there is. I think that they've got to need a tackle. Not a believer in Trevor Penning. Never was. Thought the footwork sucked. Couldn't believe they took him in the first round, and now they've found out that his footwork sucks, and he's not a good player. That's a pressing need. But also, you look at their roster. I think they could go. There's some talent here that's fallen. I think they're eyeing up a cornerback here. That they like having a good secondary. I think they could take a corner. I also think they could take edge. They've got Kyle Granderson, left defensive end. Not a household name. More, they've got Chase Young in the building. But yeah, I think that's the way they're going to go. Actually, I think in this draft they're going to take Jared Verse. I think they're going to like that kind of power rusher. So yeah, they're going to select edge out of Florida State, Jared Verse, and then play him on the other side to Chase Young to really up their pass rush. So yeah, give me Jared Verse, please, for the Saints.
I like that. I like that a lot.
okay.
Something a little bit different. I've not really seen Verse.
Yeah, I mean, I
this.
think Fashanu was quite a popular choice.
I think the obvious choice is tackle, but
Yeah.
I think they're thinking that Versus gives them that floor, immediate pass rush floor and power off the edge.
Yeah. So I mean, with the Colts here, obviously, I was thinking potentially trading up, but kind of got an inkling of potentially letting somebody trade into here because there's so many options for the Colts.
have you got the Eagles as well, Mark?
I don't.
No, that's me. That's me.
No,
Oh,
that's,
right,
that's
okay.
you, Gav. Yeah. I mean, there's nobody like I've got the Rams, the Bills, and the 49ers. I don't really have any inkling to go up this far for any of my remaining teams, but don't know if anybody has sort of any inklings of because you've got every corner is available here. Still got Byron Murphy on the board. Still got like three big tackles there. I'd be open to conversations. If not, I think I know where I would go. But does anybody have any sort of strong feelings one way or the other of wanting to trade up?
Not really, not here.
No.
No, not with mine, really.
Nothing for you, Gav? You don't fancy
I mean, I do fancy a trade, but no. Let's move on.
No? Okay. Well, if you're all going to stick there, then I'm going to take myself a Terry and Arnold and really boost the secondary for the Colts here that's in dire need. I think wide receiver is obviously another dire need. At some point, early last season, they only had 3 wide receivers on the whole roster. So it's definitely a room that needs improvement overall. So, but when you've got every cornerback staring you in the face and any chance to go anywhere, we kind of gushed last week over how much we love Terry and Arnold, Gav, and I think this would just be an absolute home run pick for the Colts. So Terry and Arnold over to the Colts. That's happening. Like that very much for them. And we're up with the Seahawks and Ran.
Yeah. Take a seat, gentlemen. Lean back. I've written a few things down. I hope you don't mind. Indulge me. They pressed the reset button, didn't they? So they've changed. They've got a new head coach, and they, for the first time in many years, John Schneider had to look for a new coach. I mean, he's pretty experienced. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings from obviously Seahawks and Green Bay. We had a certain Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers there, so he did well. But Mark McDonald is coming in. Yeah, he was spent 10 years with the Ravens. Yeah, the last 2 years as a defensive coordinator, but in 21 he took a year out. He wasn't a defensive coordinator before that. He took a year out to do 1 year as a defensive coordinator at college football. You'll never guess where. Yes, it was Michigan. Yeah, under a certain Jim Harbaugh. And then after 1 year, comes back to John Harbaugh's Ravens. Very interesting. He led to their defense. It was incredible. In the last year, there were so many. They came first in so many parameters. I don't want to, dwell on that too much, but he did very well. Now, so he went after he was appointed. He got a few coaches with him. He's got a new offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb. Comes from he was offensive coordinator for Washington, University of Washington. Yeah, he had Michael Penix Jr. and Rome Odunze, which I think will kind of lead to what the choice might be. He also has a new special team coach. This guy never played at a high level. He got injured in when he was in college. He became an undergraduate assistant, University of Oregon State, under Coach Mike Riley. This guy spent 4 years as an undergraduate assistant, then joined Michigan's staff in various roles until he became a special team coordinator. Yeah, this guy's called Jay Harbaugh. Surprise, surprise. So the son of Jim. So I think I'm going to rename the Seahawks to Seahawks Harbaugh, because this is going to be their DNA. That's what their coach knows. That's what they're going to do. And it seems like it's predestined for them to go that way. And I'm sure that very quickly we will see the Harbaugh style at the Seahawks. But I mentioned this coach that Jay worked under, Mike Riley, is an old gentleman. He's not that familiar at NFL circles, more college, XFL, USFL, where he does his business. But in the early 2000s, 99 sort of time, he was the head coach at San Diego Chargers. And he got a new quarterback there called Jim Harbaugh. So it seems like if they're all interconnected, there's a thread running through this, and I think that we'll see that reflected very much in what they do. I mean, he appointed they've got 30 coaches. This team has got 30 coaches now. So they've covered every single aspect, and I think as they've got the offensive coordinator from Washington, I think that will be their choice. Troy Fautano from Washington. So this new coordinator will know him very well. Obviously, worked with him. So yeah, Troy Fautano.
Yeah.
That seems like the sensible pick. I mean, let's talk about the low moving costs. There it is. Yeah, just down the road. So, I think this is absolutely the sensible pick. It seems like a lot of people are kind of going this way, and
It makes too much sense, doesn't it?
exactly. Yeah.
I don't buy into this low moving cost for first rounders.
You don't buy into it?
Maybe for seventh rounders. So if you're choosing between two guys, let's not move, a guy that's probably not going to make the team across country. But if you're a first round pick, there's millions of dollars riding on that. You're not going to care about, $20,000 for moving a U-Haul across the country. I don't get that.
No.
Well, maybe you are, because you spent all that money. But yes, anyway, Troy Fautano.
Well, the thing is, for me, it's the coordinator. He was his coordinator at college, so he would know him very well.
And he's just got that flexibility across the line as well, hasn't
he?
And
it's not like a bad play. Exactly.
Need, So, no, I really like that pick. I was kind of hoping he'd fall a little bit, but there you go. Troy Fautano to the Seahawks makes perfect sense to me. Steven, you're back up, I believe, with the Jaguars. So, again, anybody? I mean, I haven't got any sort of inkling to trade up here. I don't think so.
No,
Feel free to go here and pick who you like for the Jags.
Cool. So I've got two. There's two positions I'm looking at. Wide receiver. They've brought Gabe Davis in. They've got Zay Jones and Christian Kirk.
They get some weird receivers in, don't they?
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. It's just complementary pieces to something that should be to someone bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like
they were playing hardball with Calvin Ridley, weren't they? And messed it up.
That up. That's what Gabe Davis was, wasn't he? It was supposed to be the complementary piece to him. Now he's left a big hole. So there's that.
Do you think they might be? Sorry, do you think they might be slightly losing faith in their quarterback?
I don't know, because
no,
it feels like I do think Lawrence has had a bit of a hard rap. I mean, obviously he had one season with Urban Meyer, which is an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of been. I mean, that first season under Peterson, they do go to the playoffs and things are looking a bit positive. I think there is a build going on there. It's just they should have been in the playoffs last season. They completely blew it at the end. I don't think it's all on Lawrence at all, to be honest. I think it's quite minimal, Lawrence's negative impact there. So I don't think they're going to lose faith. I think they're going to, that 21 QB class is looking horrendous, but looking like the worst of all time. But I think Lawrence is going to be safe. I think they'll pick up a fifth year and give him an extension. And I don't see any sort of issues with Lawrence. So if I was the Jags, I'd be foolish to kind of fall out of favour with him, unless this season is an absolute disaster.
I think the season will be a decider whether they take a fifth year option or not.
Well, the bringing in a Mac Jones surely is a confidence booster for to Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? So they could have, tried somewhere else with that, but
Well, Zach Wilson.
Well, yeah,
he was
anyone in that class, I suppose. Is that So there's wide receiver, so that's obviously a gaping hole. But Trent Baalke basically said, we've got to add to that room. Talking about the QB room, we've got to add to it. So it's pretty adamant what his intentions are. What they've got at the minute in terms of cornerbacks is Tyson Campbell, good player, on the rise. But Ronald Darby, who's 30 years old. And not much else after that, really. So I think the consensus pick amongst like NFL draft experts, like Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, Lance Zierlein, and Eric Edholm, have all picked Terrion Arnold. Now he's gone to the Colts, so I think wide receiver. I think I'm just going to go with the next cornerback on the group, which is Quinion Mitchell.
Yeah,
I think Cooper DeJean's. They just need a good number one outside corner, and I think Quinion Mitchell's more of that than Cooper DeJean is, really.
I think so. I think I'd agree with you. As much as we love DeJean, we know that he's probably going to be more of a Swiss Army
Swiss
sort
Army
of.
knife, yeah.
Exactly. And I think the Jags are set on wanting a standout corner, and I think Mitchell is the sensible option here for sure.
Yeah, so I'll go with that one, I think, and address what's their. Just out of interest, what are their picks afterwards? Do we know? I don't
know, because I haven't got it in front of me here because it only goes up to
so
the
many,
32.
So many teams I know that don't have round 2 picks, and it's like, oh God, I've set them up for failure.
It's good draft capital already, isn't it? Round 2. So yeah.
Sorry, round 2 for
Jacksonville.
I've got in front of me for Jacksonville, 48.
Yeah, all right.
Ooh, just again, just a little bit in front of the Steelers again. So
they could pick someone who they potentially want.
Pick Ricky Pearsall and break my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There you go, Mark. I'm setting them up. So Quinion Mitchell for me, please.
Quinion Mitchell, no problem at all. Quinion Mitchell goes over to the Jags. So Gav, you have the unenviable task of dealing with the Cincinnati Bengals here.
I think a desk was just turned over in Cincinnati because they were literally that. The Quinion Mitchell pick was written in. The card was already written because that was happening. With that, so he's gone off the board. Yeah, absolutely. With a player of that quality, that I think at corner, they've got Cam Taylor-Britt and DJ Turner at corner, and then not much behind him. So I think they were thinking, let's see. The Bengals like taking a corner in the first round as well. They do it often, as we remember. They sniped. I can't remember who it was, but they sniped whoever we wanted. Oh no, it was William Jackson ahead of Artie Burns. That's why we ended up with Artie Burns on the Steelers because the Bengals sniped us. But so that's gone. They're probably looking at Cooper DeJean here, but I think we default back to the kind of very chalky pick of looking at wide receiver. Tyler Boyd's gone. I'm not sure they're going to be able to hang on to T. Higgins for too much longer. So the obvious pick here, the one we've seen lots of times, I think we're going to fall back to that of taking Brian Thomas Jr. here.
Interesting. Yeah. You're not thinking any tackles here? Because I know that, there's need here for the Bengals in tackle, but...
No, I don't think so. I think they feel like they're set, even though they probably should take one. I mean, they got Trent Brown and Orlando Brown. They got the 2 Browns. So they got Carmen Jackson, who's a sort of solid dude backing him up. They could take tackle here. They'd probably be wise to, but I just don't feel like the Bengals prioritize that position. We've seen it time and time again. They just roll with what they've got. So they're always smitten by the skill players. So they're going to.
That's an interesting pick. I've never seen that before, but it does kind of make sense. Whilst you still got T. Higgins kind of under the franchise, you don't have to play him straight away and then build him up to next year. Yeah. So and he's kind of almost like T. Higgins-ish as well. So it's like
exactly. Yeah. Just roll with Higgins and then Brian Thomas ready to go next year.
I suppose. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I'm up now at 19 with the Rams. It feels like with Aaron Donald gone, and I think we've already discussed this, there's not an Aaron Donald replacement. I mean, come on. You can't say there's going to be an Aaron Donald replacement. Nobody can replace Aaron Donald here. But when you got Byron Murphy falling here, it feels almost like that's the really logical pick. And the Rams could go tackle. You could see them take a Latham or a Fashanu. Fashanu falling this far is pretty wild, in my opinion. Could potentially take a corner in DeJean, perhaps, or if they like the speed of Nate Wiggins. But I think ultimately, it is a little bit chalky. But, you're not going to replace Donald, but you still need to fill a gap on a roster. You're probably going to use him a little bit differently. But I think Byron Murphy II is what the Rams will ultimately go for here. You know, build up that defense again. You know, a defense that's looking pretty tasty. You know, drafted a stud in Kobe Turner. So yeah, I think offensively they're somewhat set. You know, there's bits here and there that they could use, but yeah, I'm going to go for Byron Murphy here for the Rams. So now the all-important 20th pick, which falls to you, Ran, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are you going to do with this pick?
Well, I had all this thing written down, but it's kind of been ruined by someone else's pick.
Oh no!
But yeah, it all revealed itself. So I was looking at this very carefully because everywhere you look, everybody's saying it should be a center. That's what everybody's pointing out, and I thought surely that can't be the only thing. Now I'm looking at some facts here. I mean, it's the first time that Tomlin's going into a season with 1 year left in his contract, no extension. It's the first time in 17 years. But this could be his last season. I don't think anybody wants that, but this is a very unusual situation. If it's got a new offensive coordinator, first time from outside the organization, someone who's coming in. There's a new QB coach, which was actually, I think, recruited before the offensive coordinator. It's a guy with only 2 years experience coaching in the NFL with the Chargers. He was a passing game specialist. There's a new wide receiver coach that came from Denver. I'm not sure how the new QB recruit from Denver would feel about that. So I think there's a lot of pressure here. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot on the line. I mean, we all know that every defensive coordinator in the league knew what was going to happen. It was the offense was very obvious, even to me. In layman's term, I could. It was very frustrating. I think there was a need for a new tool here. Yeah, when you have a defense that spent so much time on the pitch, so much time, they lost so much faith in their offense. You could see when they were coming off, they weren't sitting down. The defense was standing up, knowing they're going to come back on very soon. So the way I see it, I think you need someone that is exciting, someone that you think, right, okay, this is going to offer us something new, something different, something we haven't seen before, something in the middle. And I'm not sure center would be the position, despite the need, despite what's in front of us. I'm not sure the center is the position to fill first. In a way, I'm thinking, you know what? I don't mind if the new QB, whoever that might be, is rushed a bit. You know, if they don't have to think too long, if they get the ball and have to throw it, not get rid of it, but throw it quickly or do something with it quickly without thinking too much. And in my mind, I was going to go for a wide receiver. I was going to go for Brian Thomas Jr. That would have been my choice. And in fact, I was kind of thinking it might be worth trading up a couple of places, well, 3 places with the Jags, just to make sure that the Bengals don't get him.
Didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it. But I think there's there's a few other options. I don't know if Adonai Mitchell is at that caliber, because he would have been the next one after that. And I think the fans, if you say to the fans, right, we got Brian Thomas Jr., I think people will be excited. I think it would give this new offensive coordinator so many more options. And I also think there'll be options in the second round, either to trade up or to get a decent center. I know that the center needing team are coming up. Well, straight behind, really. So I am kind of now, I have to think, because I had Brian Thomas Jr. written all over this here. I didn't think that it would be taken. So what I'm thinking now is either really, I think I want to go attack. I don't want to go defense. I'm thinking Adonai Mitchell from Texas. That would have been my choice.
You're thinking the first round wide receiver, then? You are.
I'm thinking first round wide receiver. Now, traditionally,
At all costs.
the top three guys in any position in the first round, they've got the highest rate of success. But I think in this this draft, I think there's value further down. I mean, Graham Barton also is just looking at me there. I'm not. I was set on Brian Thomas Jr., but I want to give people some excitement. I think Adonai Mitchell at 20, please.
Okay.
Wide receiver from Texas.
I mean, I don't know how I would react if this was the pick. Like, I get it. The wide receiver is a big need, but I like Mitchell as well. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not massively high on him, but I do like him. Yeah.
You can't even bring yourself to.
Well, no, I'll do it. Yeah, like there you go. There's the pick. I've had to put it in. But I mean, Gav, what would you say if that ultimately was the pick for the Steelers at 20?
Right. If they did that, that would mean that he was up on their board, and you have to respect.
I get that. Yeah,
because we always, the fans always draft for need, and sometimes the teams don't do it that way. They draft.
I think there's a certain element here of being institutionalized. I think you've been used to for so many years doing the predictable thing, doing the expected thing, but I think this GM is doing things differently. I mean, you've got, who would have thought that Wilson and would be thank you, would be your QB room 6 months ago. It's unbelievable. Right. It is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think it could be exciting times. I think you want to spend as long as you can with the ball attacking, and whoever you can use to extend your plays is there. I mean, just use it. I think if it was a better running back class, maybe a running back would be good here, and just give him all the tools.
I mean, you've got Adonai Mitchell. They've had him in for a visit, haven't they? So rather than Brian Thomas, so that would be like, it wouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
How the idea of like getting him really over Thomas. But it's funny how this exercise is kind of like said. If basically the Bengals have taken your pick,
yeah.
So he always thinks like I've been thinking this like a bit where if they ever traded up, it would be to jump over the Bengals, because the Bengals seem to need similar needs to us. A tackle, a wide receiver, but there's no real easy, because you couldn't do it with the Jags because they'd want to. I think the Bengals would take their cornerback potentially. So
I wonder if they would have pivoted there if Brian Thomas had gone. They might have pivoted to corner or tackle there rather than maybe reach for Mitchell. But I'm not saying it's out of the question.
I'm glad that it's fallen on Ran to do this, because I think it's given a different perspective for us.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's been very interesting.
I think, come on, he just wants something exciting. You don't want something predictable.
You're telling me that Jackson Powers Johnson is not exciting? Now, come
No,
on.
it's very exciting. I'm sure some people are very excited by him. In fact,
Well, they might get him in the second round at
by
this
the
rate.
sounds
You
of
never
it,
know.
yeah.
The way
this
he's
is what I'm
falling.
thinking. No one is Graham Barton hasn't gone out, has he?
No, Graham Barton's still there.
No,
Yeah.
but Barton's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Soon won't be.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, so Adonai Mitchell has gone to the Steelers at 20 there.
And I must say, I do think this wide receiver class is being pumped a little bit stronger than what it is. It is a good class, but I do think it starts to, when you get after Mitchell, it does start to thin out a little bit into you're getting into projection guys. Maybe Mitchell is the last of the kind of sure bets. So maybe there is a bit of that in there. Or let's just get the guy now, and then we'll see who falls. Centers usually fall. You know, people aren't winning for this very reason. They're, you know, it's not, you're not going to put a center on your program for the rest of the year. It's not going to sell many season tickets. So you know the centers do fall. So maybe this is a calculation. If there's the one sort of top tier receiver, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like the further you go down with the wide receivers, they kind of get more only slot capable. So there isn't that.
Yeah, or just take the top off, like sort of one dimensional
deep guys,
speedy guys.
Yeah. So there's a method in that.
Yeah,
with Mitchell, definitely. They wouldn't have brought him in otherwise, and you can kind of see it. You can kind of see why. I mean, they went for they tried to go for Mike Williams, didn't they?
Yeah,
which always seems like an odd thing, but I suppose run the ball and then just send moon balls over to JPJ and Mike Williams. Well, that might work to a certain extent with Russell Wilson, but so it's kind of in that mold, I suppose, with Mitchell. He probably can do a bit more as well with the separation elements and stuff. So
nice pick,
yeah.
Okay, so Stephen, you are now up with the Dolphins, who are another team who are kind of need tackle and center needs. So yeah, and a ton really. So where do you fancy going with the Dolphins?
Yeah, so they lost a lot of talent, didn't they? There's a few options they could go with. You could try and get a replacement for Christian Wilkins, but Byron Murphy's gone. That was one I was looking at potentially. There's a potential replacement or a successor to Teron Armstead, who seems to be getting really injury prone nowadays. But left tackle is there, isn't he? So Fashanu's still there, isn't he? So, that's interesting. I didn't expect him to be still there. But I'm looking at the O-line. They lost Rob Hunt. So they don't have, if you look on their depth chart, they don't have a clear right guard. They've moved Liam Eichenberg from left guard and then right guard, and now he's playing centre. And he's not playing that great at centre, to be fair. Since Connor Williams went down, there was a massive downward projection, really, of how that you could see, you could kind of see how the Dolphins were performing, how badly they were performing towards the end, and tagged it to how the O-line was performing as well. Lester Cott.
I'm back.
Oh,
sorry.
That's all right. I think we kind of lost Rand in the middle there.
But, I know you didn't like my pick, but there's no need
it's
to.
good. Yeah, you're good.
Sorry,
you're good.
carry on, Steve.
Carry on.
So what they've got Lester Cotton basically playing at left guard, but he's also doubling in as the right guard backup and the centre backup. So it's that made me think, well, they need someone with a bit of versatility along that line that doesn't just play the one position. So because they need help along that line, the lot, just in case, there's some things don't work, and if you get Liam Eichenberg back to his left guard position, or is he better centre? Anyway, cut a long story short, I think Graham Barton's the pick here, just because he brings that versatility. He may not play tackle like he did at college, but you could put him at guard at a pinch. He's wanted to play centre, so he's projected at centre, so you play him at centre initially, but you work this out all in training camp. I think that versatility and the fact that he's a leader as well. There's no leaders on that line anymore. So it's, other than Teron Armstead, but he's, again, injury prone. So I think that's the pick. It's, if Steelers weren't going to get him, I'm pretty damn sure Miami are going to get him for that reason.
Yeah.
Graham Barton for this one.
Look what you've done to us, Ran. Look what's happened. Barton's now gone off the board. No.
Well, I know he disconnected me immediately after.
You got kicked. Yeah, we didn't like the pick, so we kicked you, Ran.
Yes,
No,
I mean, that's fair enough.
Okay, Graham Barton to the Dolphins. Yeah, no, that makes total sense to me, sadly. I do think, if it's not a centre for the Steelers, I do think Miami's gonna pick up on that big time. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Gav, with the Eagles, I mean, well, we haven't had
a lot of hand rubbing here with the Eagles because the player that they want has fallen to them. Again, another loaded roster, but there's a very simple selection here. They are taking Cooper DeJean, the defensive back out of Iowa. Can't you just see that as an absolute perfect fit? I mean, they've got a great secondary: Darius Big Play Slay, Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Reed Blankenship, and James Bradbury. And then with Avonte Maddox at Nickelback. That's a great secondary, but they're all getting up there in age. They need some people coming through. They've got Sidney Brown, the strong safety. They've got Eli Ricks, some good guys coming through. But I think having Cooper DeJean there, that really solidifies this secondary.
There's talk of them having conversations with like teams for trading up. And I'm wondering if it's like Terry and Arnold's their guy that they're trying to get there.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a pick. Like, if you're going to stay there, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
exactly.
I've seen a lot of
that's an easy one.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Eagles fans on Twitter kind of rubbing their hands and really hoping that this is the guy that falls to them. I know a lot of Packers fans have as well, kind of hoping he'd fall that far. But
you know what? I think it would fit in almost any team. I think it would fit easily in the Steelers.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about this. It's a case of what would you use for him, but this is the thing. That's the good side of versatility, isn't it? Like, you can find a role for him, and I think most any role that he plays for you, he's going to excel at. So, it's going to be a great pick for whoever gets him, because you're just going to get a wonderful athlete with immense versatility. So, now the Vikings are back on the clock here at 23. I'm fully aware that I have not moved 23 either for the Vikings here. But you know what? I'm just going to do this. I don't think it's going to be as bad as doing it at 11. I'm going to go for it here.
You're taking Penix.
Michael Penix Jr. for the Vikings. I do not trust in Sam Darnold for the next year or so.
No.
I
Bridge
can't have that.
QB.
Yeah, I can't have that happening on their watch. Is it a bit of a stretch? Maybe, but I'd be more comfortable with Penix here, far more comfortable with Penix here than I would Bo Nix. I like the upside of Penix far too much. I think this could be a nice get for the Vikings. Obviously, they probably, maybe they would potentially, they've back a little bit, but ultimately they've gone there for a reason. It probably is to use it for more trade up value, but for this exercise, with them already getting the edge that they needed at 11, Michael Penix Jr. here.
You okay? All right. You're not concerned about the injuries either.
No. I don't think so. No, I think there's enough upside here with Penix, and I think he's shown if he's going to be a second round guy, he might be quite a high second round guy. So why not be a lower end first round guy? Just reach a little bit.
I think he'll be a second round guy.
I think he's worth a second round pick, but ultimately, if you're in the Viking situation where you need that QB, and this is how the board really falls to you, I'm not adverse to going a little way up here and grabbing Penix. So I'm going to take Michael Penix Jr. here for the Vikings. So that leaves.
I mean, some on some draft boards you can see that Bo Nix will have gone by then.
Me, I mean, if anybody's I personally don't even see Bo Nix as a second round pick.
There's
myself.
talk. Have you heard? There was Peter Schrager's just been on recently saying he thinks he wouldn't be surprised if all six QBs go in the top 20 or something like that. Yeah.
And he's put. I'm just looking at his draft now. He put Bo Nix for Vikings.
Yeah. I see people do it, but Bo Nix is just Kenny Pickett with a bit of a bigger arm. It just scares me way too much. And yeah, there's so much of his play that just really worries me.
Does he look really scared as well?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, he probably isn't scared because he's behind the absolute best center in the entire world. But, he also had the benefit of having the best running back in this draft. But for me, Penix clears Nix in terms of Penix is still my QB5 in this whole thing, but. Yeah, I would prefer kind of stretching to for Penix there than to stretch for Nix. My phone has disagreed with me because it's just fallen down the middle of the sofa here. So yeah, it's fine. I'll be able to grab that, no problem. So the Cowboys up next. Ran, you have the unfortunate task of being Jerry Jones here. What are you going to do here?
I'm in the room on my own. Yeah, and as you all know, I went all in. I went all in with Dak Prescott without restructuring the deal. So he's on like 50 million on his last season. Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of needs here. I am very tempted to take a center here.
Oh, are you now? Oh, what a surprise!
but
well, that would take you back to when the Cowboys shocked the world and took Travis Frederick, and then he ended up being like a Pro Bowl All Pro center.
But I think that I have a feeling that they've got quite a few needs. Yeah. They need a center, the linebacker, the tackle. Need a running back as well, but I think they might actually go a wide receiver.
They do need wide receiver, yeah.
So I think Lad McConaughey.
Ooh. That's an interesting one, McConkey to the Cowboys. Actually, I don't hate that, to be honest.
But there is a slight caveat here, and the caveat is if between now and the draft, Dak Prescott annoys me a lot. I'm going to do something else. I'm not going to give you any more weapons. So that's a slight caveat. But apart from that, I'm going to go Lad McConaughey.
Well, you've only got 2 days to the draft, so it would be amazing if Dak manages to annoy you in that time. But, he's been annoying Cowboys fans.
He might come out and say something you never know.
He needs a good year. The Cowboys need him to have a good year, because if the QB class isn't great next year, I genuinely do think he's on his... It's got to be close for him to not be their QB. Like, I just do not understand...
It's last season. The contract is
exactly. I don't understand the hype with Prescott at all. I never have, really, to be honest with you.
There is a scenario, that he might be a Steeler.
Let's not talk about that.
Rumors.
I'd rather not talk about that. So Lad McConkey, you're set here, wide receiver with Lad.
I think Mike McCarthy needs another tool there, because potentially his head is on the block now.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's lost his defensive coordinator, and he's calling the shots. I think he needs a player there, and I think they've got a few picks. Yeah. So they've got, what is it? Yeah, they've got 7 right there. So they've got time to fill out the other roster holes, but I think that'll be it.
Okay. Now, Stephen, you're up on the board here with the Packers. I would like to suggest a trade here.
All right.
I have the 49ers at 31.
Okay.
And I would be quite interested to come up here.
After a tackle
for a particular reason.
Maybe.
Well, let's talk.
Sorry,
So
I revealed it too much probably there.
I'd have to force it through, but let's talk potential. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
if there's
we've got we. Why am I saying we? I've got Packers have got like
Traitor.
got absolute tons, haven't they? They've got 11 picks, a bit like a
yeah. So
Cardinals.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 11 picks. Yeah,
an absolute shed load.
So yeah, you might not be like massively.
Don't need any premium positions really. So it's their needs are odd. They need a linebacker, safety. It's just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, positions you don't necessarily want to
yeah.
take in the first round.
They could potentially be kind of this inside interior O line as well. So
yeah, I'd go with that if I was the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Yeah, we would, yeah.
So just having a look here, because 49ers have kind of got some vanilla picks to start with, the 31, 63 and 94 here, but some nice comp picks down the bottom end here. So obviously this is something that I'd have to force through, but this would be what you would want to take here. So how about I'll offer you 94.
Yeah.
And just kind of looking here, I'll offer you 176 as well. Kind of plugs a little gap between 169 and 202. Yeah, plugs a little gap there. I still keep the second round pick for the 49ers here as well.
They'll probably end up trading into, further into, like, let's say the fourth rounds or something, and bubbling those up, or like pushing them back for next year. So yeah.
Are you happy? Are you happy with that? Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'll force that through. Anybody adverse to this trade? You're happy with it? No problem. Okay, so I'll force that through. If Olu Fashanu is falling this far, there is absolutely no way I can see him falling any further. It seems absolutely crazy that he would fall as far as 25. And that's why I think the 49ers have got to come up here. They've got a tackle need. They want to protect Brock Purdy. Olu Fashanu, for me, is absolutely going to be the pick. I cannot believe he's fallen this far.
I'm still sure it's Fashanu.
But I don't know why.
I think it is Fashanu.
I think it is Fashanu. He said it was Fashanu.
I'm so
he's like, enough of
this.
So
hammered into me. Yeah, it's so hammered into me that it's Fashanu after we've talked about it.
I'm a little bit surprised that the argument is how to pronounce the surname rather than the first name.
We're
saying
over
Olu.
that.
Like that's it. Yeah.
See.
Olu Muyi.
That's why we just say Olu. Exactly. Yeah.
Seems this season's like full of, like, it's a new record of like surnames that you can't properly pronounce, or like, there's hidden letters, or there's a certain way of like saying it. It's like
there's a record amount of the letter U in this class. I found there's so many uses of the letter U.
You say that, but I don't recall a time where there was someone named after a drink.
Yeah, there are some odd names out there.
Yeah.
So Olu Fashanu for me, falls this far. I think the 49ers have got to pound the table and go, right, grab him. What a tackle need that is. 49ers take Fashanu there. So we're up to the Buccaneers with Gavin here.
Interesting, because I think the Bucks' real need is I think they need an inside linebacker, but this feels a bit too early for them. So I wonder if this is a trade back scenario for them. So I don't know if anyone's like desperate to move up ahead of the Cardinals. The phone is being answered if there's any offers, but doesn't sound like anyone's moving up. So I think ultimately they're probably going to look at best player available here. I think they could definitely go wide receiver if you could just put up the wide receivers there, but it feels a little bit early for some of the guys. Yeah, I mean, I think they'd be interested in Keon Coleman, but I think it's a little bit early. So could you have a look at the tackles? I just think they're looking at who's fallen in the kind of. I want to look at tackle.
Yeah,
edge,
I mean,
there's
some couple of tackle options there in Latham.
So Latham and Mims are on the board. There's some good corners too, and they could go here. But this feels like where the blue chip players have gone now. Like there's no obvious selections here. Yes,
Oh, you want
edge,
the edge
please.
as
If we just
well?
have a look at edge.
No
Yes,
problem.
please. Let me
that's
see
tackle
here.
and edge. So yeah, you're looking then at Adita Isaac.
Yeah,
Then
you see
Robinson,
Chop Robinson, but it feels again a little bit early. Maybe
Darius
he's the
Robinson.
guy. I don't think it meshes with their scheme, but or they could move him
Any old
inside,
Robinson.
maybe. Yeah, they could move him inside. I mean, it's a tricky one. I'm going to fall back to what did I write here? I've got them needing a cornerback. Maybe I'll make them take Nate Wiggins. Someone's going to take that speed. Maybe that's
Nate
the
Wiggins.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not a massive Wiggins fan,
either,
but
no.
I think they could take Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's a more all-round, complete player. So, in fact, give me that. Forget Wiggins. I'm going to take McKinstry. Give me McKinstry. Yeah, forget Wiggins. I don't want to promote that as a pick because I just don't think he's a good corner. So yeah, give me Kool-Aid McKinstry here. They've got who have they got a corner here? They've got they've always had traditionally quite good corners. The Bucks. They've got Zion McCollum, who I actually really like as was my sleeper a few years ago. But he was a 7th round draft pick. And then they've got Jamel Dean and Tavier Thomas as a nickelback. So I think they could do with a bit of upgrade at corner. That is probably their most needy position. So yeah, give me Kool-Aid as a guy that's going to come in with a high floor.
That's a nice pick. I like that one.
Yeah.
I think I prefer that over Wiggins myself. But I'm not completely out on Wiggins. I think he still has something to offer. I mean, mostly speed, but
I just think it's the durability, isn't he? He's so slight. He's tall, but he's not made
he's
of
put on a
anything.
bit. Like I mean, I say he's put on a bit. He's gone up to 180 odd. So yeah,
From
that's
170 was it? Or something
yeah,
like
still
that.
not great. 173.
It was just for me as well, though. Added to that, it was his propensity to play the man rather than the ball and never get his head round.
Not very
never
good
really
tackler
challenge the
at the
ball.
end of the day either. So
no, so just some weaknesses to his game that
I mean, you can't.
Really didn't like.
You've got to say that speed's amazing, and you can get back to the ball and everything. But yeah, there's just a few things that I just don't think are going to translate well to the NFL really as a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have a little bit of a kind of switcheroo here because obviously Ran had the Cardinals earlier, so we're gonna have a little bit of a switch around, and Ran's gonna it would normally go Steven then Ran, but Ran, you're back up with the Cardinals here at 27. So you obviously took Marvin Harrison Jr. earlier with the 4th pick. So what are you fancying for the Cardinals at 27?
I fancy switching with Gavin because he nicks my players. I've got it in my notes here.
That's the sign of a good draft where I'm sniping you.
Yeah. Kool-Aid McKinstry is on the board there. That's what's in front of me. That's why I mentioned that interesting name.
So Nate Wiggins is not someone that you might think.
That is definitely an option.
Kind of brought him down a little bit, haven't we?
Just a little bit.
You can talk him up though.
Think of that speed, right? Think of the speed.
Yes, I've wiped him so quickly off the board, quicker than he could run. What have we got left in safety?
I mean, every safety is available here.
You'll have Tyler Nubin, won't you? He's the top one.
Tyler Nubin's next, yeah. But I mean, is that quite rich at 27?
He is.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk that's only Packers involved in that one, and it's it is a bit rich, isn't it, for this safety class?
I'm going to go with Tyler Nubin.
Oh, you're going to take it. You're going to push him up here. Yeah. You're a big Nubin fan then, Ran.
Well, considering it's not. I tell you what. Before we press that button,
here we go.
What guards have we got left?
Interior O-line. I mean,
yeah, they do need a bit. No, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, guard-wise, you're going down to Haynes and Beebe.
Cooper Beebe is a good guard.
He's a good guard, but 27.
Is he a first-round guard?
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, give me.
You're going to go Nubin. Okay.
Yes.
That's fair enough. A touch rich for my blood, but I can see, I think at one point he was kind of, and he's ranked 31st here in PFF as well. So, ranked in a first-round place here. So, Tyler Nubin going to the Cardinals there from Ran. I like that. It's something a little bit different. I like it. So now we're back. We're back round to you, Stephen. And is it Stephen?
No.
Oh no, it's me. It's
Mm.
me next. Sorry. Yes.
Right behind you.
Look in the mirror,
Oh
Mark.
no, the Bills.
Look in the mirror.
Okay. See, the problem for me here with the Bills is wide receiver would be where I'd naturally want to go,
It's a
but
bit chalky, isn't it?
yeah, but Thomas and Mitchell off the board.
Yeah.
A little bit now, like, what
helped.
do I do here? I mean, JC Latham's still on the board here. That might be a shout. That could be an interesting one for the Bills. There's not really much else that's exciting me. I mean, Jordan Morgan's not too bad. I don't think I'd want to take a linebacker at this point, despite the need. I don't think I'd take Nate Wiggins either. I like Nate Wiggins, but I'm just not sure that's what I would do for the Bills. I'm going to take JC Latham. I think best player available at this point, a guy that's kind of projected to go that middle of the first round to fall this far back to 28. I think it would be a little bit foolish for the Bills not to grab him here. So JC Latham for the Bills. Let's do it. Cool. We're up with the Lions now. Now we're up to you, Stephen.
Oh, cheers. I was looking at there's a few that I had noted down for corner for a Cam Sutton replacement, basically, and for help in that secondary in general. But Cooper DeJean and Kool-Aid have gone. You've got Kamari Lassiter, have you?
Lassiter's on there.
And there's obviously Nate Wiggins, but we've talked about him. There's another option as well, is with edge, someone opposite Hutchinson. And you could argue that Chop Robinson could be that person. It doesn't, you've got Hutchinson there to be the star, and he can just grow on the other side, which is I quite like that idea. But there's a more obvious one to me that seems to be screaming out, and it's another O-lineman, like me, Miami Dolphins. If you look at the guards, they got old guards with Graham Glasgow. I'm not going to say Glasgow. It's Glasgow. Graham Glasgow and Kevin Zeitler. They're getting up in age. The one central pillar, Frank Ragnow, is I don't know what his future is at the minute. Like what his status is whether he's going to be retiring or anytime soon, or his health's not is in question. So for that reason, I think you get, whilst he's still in the building, you get a successor for him. And I think, for me personally, I think this match is perfect for them. Give me JPJ for the Lions.
Yeah.
He can't even press the button. Look at him. He's skirting all around it.
I like Detroit. It's fine. They can have him. Okay.
Well, I think he should be thankful he hasn't gone to the Ravens.
If they didn't have Linderbaum, I'm sure they'd probably still take Powers Johnson and just destroy me.
Just to annoy you,
exactly.
yes.
But yeah, Gav, you can. Are you going to pick somebody that I'm going to love and then have to hate?
I think the pick here jumps off the screen to me. I think if one of the sort of Brian Thomas's or a top receiver had fallen, I think the Ravens will be jumping at the chance here. However, looking at the board, there's a guy called Darius Robinson who is an edge / D lineman. He's got that flexibility. Now the Ravens play a 3-4 with aggressive pass rush. I think they've got a Doe and Carl Van Noy on the outside. I think that they draft Darius Robinson. They try to make him work on the outside, but then if he doesn't work on the outside, they can move him inside and play him at D end or D tackle. So I think this makes a hell of a lot of sense. Perfect. They did the Clowney thing. They've done a few experiments over the years, but they've really been trying to find that bitch kitty pass rusher to replace Terrell Suggs. This is a guy that's going to definitely shore up your run defense, and if he works out as an outside linebacker, he could be dangerous in a similar way to Highsmith, actually. Not the sort of dropping into coverage guy, but a guy that shores up seals your edge, and plays up at the line. Strong, tough guy. I can see him being a rover. I'd absolutely hate it. I'd hate this pick because I really like Darius Robinson, but I think this makes a hell of a lot of sense.
I'd be shocked if he went past Detroit, to be honest, because it feels almost set up. I mean, he's one of the 13 players that's going to be at the combine. The draft. Sorry.
Yeah.
And obviously with the roots that he has with the Lions as well, it almost seems like it's set for that. But obviously, we went JPJ here. So Darius Robinson to the Ravens. You 100% going with that then, Gav?
Oh, there's no one else.
They do have a new defensive coordinator, so style might change slightly.
Potentially, but I mean, I see the point.
He did spend a lot of time before the Ravens, but he did go to Jacksonville Jaguars and came back.
Yeah,
but he did work with Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith before, so obviously.
Yeah. Well, Queen's on to pastures new.
Yes, we're all thankful for it. Cool. Okay, so obviously, I mean, I'm out here because obviously with my 49ers trade up, there's no more for me to do. But Steven, you're back on the clock here with the Green Bay Packers at 31.
So the one before when I was on my errand about the trade back, I would have taken Olu Fashanu, just being the last left tackle on the board. Would have been a nice replacement for Bakhtiari, really. But like I said, like I touched on, they don't really have many premium positions to address. It's a weird one. Strangely enough, they've drafted defensive players for the last defensive players in the first round for the last 3 seasons. In 2023, they had about 8 first rounders all on defense. So should I break that trend this time round? It's weird because I've not really thought about this going down all the way to 31. Because I had Cooper DeJean, I had Tyler Newbin as possible replacements for Daniel Savage. Obviously, what we're saying about the linebackers isn't the greatest strength of class this draft. So that seems like a reach at the minute. Is Tyler Guyton still there?
Tyler Guyton's still there.
He is, yeah. He's not gone. Yeah, you've got some decent tackles actually.
Morgan,
Mims,
yeah.
Guyton.
I wonder if they go Mims.
I wouldn't look to me and Gav for Mims backup.
Well, no. This is where I'm going to say I'm probably a little bit higher on him than you guys, but I'm not going to fight you on it.
Well, no, I mean, if you feel like he's the pick here, like.
Yeah, I just can't see him getting out getting out of round 1 really. So I'll go with Amarius Mims here. It seems like a better play, like a better area for him, like just at the back end of round 1. I mean, the guy's he's built like he's like the prototypical build for like a tackle.
House.
Yeah.
He blocks out the sun, doesn't he?
It's just huge. All the measurables are there. He is a projection, but I think they can.
I think you're right, to be honest. And I would have possibly taken him if you weren't on the last pick. I've heard something very interesting about him, that he's got something that you can't teach, and that's talent. So some evaluators looking at him thinking, the fundamentals are there. Mm-hmm. What he needs is to land in a good spot with the right coach. And that would make him a very good player. So there's a difference between having the talent, but not being up to speed yet, or being too raw, where you have to have a lot of coaching. But he's not far off, according to some evaluators. So I think it'll be in the right... under the right coach, I think
it's amazing because Georgia is pretty much like a conveyor belt of tackles. You've got to wait your turn, and he effectively, I think it was, did he start pre-season and then went on to just do 1 season, and that's where he's at. So the fact that he's not had that many games is really down to that first and foremost. I'm not too concerned about the injury thing because it's just the one injury. He got rolled up on his ankle, which then, he had to then go on to have tightrope surgery. He then had 6 games he missed, came back and then re-aggravated it, which, you could say for a man his size, when it's an ankle injury, it could easily happen if you come back at it from like 6 weeks. Approach. So I'm not kind of that surprised. The fact that it's only that injury, I know he pulled up at the combine, but so did another guy up straight after him on his second attempt at a 40. So I'm like, that's another thing entirely. But it's his rawness. It is for me. Sorry, I'm going on about Emeritus Mims here, but like the fact that for me, it shouldn't be the Steelers. If we're looking back at the Steelers, it shouldn't be the Steelers pick because he's too much of a project. So he wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't have him because he wouldn't start week 1. I possibly wouldn't start the whole entire season. He'd just be building up, and they'd get him ready for like playing probably next season. He's that raw. But for me, you can't argue with the instincts, the general, how he holds himself. I mean, there's no bad weight on him, so it's such a tough one because it is just a massive projection. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No.
I won't fight you, Mark. I'm just.
If he's a Steeler, he's a Steeler, and we'll have to live with that. I mean, I'm sure we'll have our thoughts on it, but
we'll all get on board.
Exactly.
If he gets drafted.
We'll die for the guy if he's drafted. But as it is right now, at least until Thursday.
But we will be reserving our "we told you so."
Yeah, we may well do.
I'm just a forever optimist, I think. So it's I always try and see the positives in these guys, and it's yeah.
Well, it's admirable. Sometimes you've got to be brutal, though.
And I mean, I was kind of semi-worrying that I traded up for a left tackle for the 49ers when I completely forgot that they got Trent Williams. But I mean, he is 35, so it'd be.
Yeah, then you need, what do you do with a loaded roster like that? You take people on a conveyor belt, don't you? Especially at the end of you take the best player available at whatever position.
It's the perfect time to get someone whilst the other guy's still in the building. It's like when me drafting JPJ whilst Frank Ragnar's still in.
Exactly. Yeah. So I felt a bit.
Yeah, and look at the they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this spot. Thinking for need, let's take the best running back, and that's 2 or 3 years later, that's a dead roster spot. That was a wasted draft pick. So you're always better off taking the better player.
So with that being said, Ran, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs at 32 here, how are you going to approach this?
Well, I think their biggest need is cornerback, but there aren't so many good ones left. I mean, wide receiver would have been the obvious choice, but they've signed Hollywood Brown.
They have, but we don't know what's happening with Rashee Rice now. Like, I'm sure he won't miss the full season.
That is true. So I've got in my notes here, yes, wide receiver, cornerback, and tackle. So who've gone cornerback?
Let me bring up the cornerback list for you here. Still got Wiggins up there, and then you're looking at Sam Still, Rakestraw, TJ Tampa, Kamari Lassiter.
Not exactly. Gets your blood going. What about the?
I think Sainer still gets my blood going, but maybe not for the. I think the Ravens were quite high on him.
Who've got left in tackle?
So in the tackles,
Tyler Guyton, haven't you?
Yeah, Jordan Morgan and Tyler Guyton, 2 guys I really like there.
I think that might be. You have to help me here. Which one is one of them a left tackle?
Morgan's the left tackle. Yeah.
That'll be it.
You're going to go Jordan Morgan. That'd be a very nice.
No, I think just to inform your pick a little bit, Ran. I think Morgan's maybe got slightly readier to go, more of a package that's ready to plug and play. Guyton's got the much higher upside. His movement skills are absolutely fantastic, but he's probably not going to give you much in year 1. That's the choice you're making.
I've got a note here saying left tackle is a need.
If it's a need, then it's probably Morgan. If you're looking to start someone straight away.
Yeah, I'd go.
I think that'd be a great choice. It's one that I'm really hoping the Ravens don't take. It's kind of one of my highlighted, please don't take in Baltimore sort of picks. But yeah, I think that'd be a great pick for the Chiefs. So Jordan Morgan to round us off at 32 here. So with that being done, they're now going to analyse the draft here, and we'll have our first. I've won an award for it. Thank you very much. They don't. Yeah, they don't let you do the assistant of grading. So yeah, let's just run through the first round mock that we've come up here today. So Stephen with the Bears at number 1, obviously went with Caleb Williams. Gav with the Commanders at 2 takes Jaden Daniels. At 3, I take for the Patriots Drake May, quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver, at 4. Rand takes for the Cardinals. Then the Raiders trade up as part of a trade Stephen did with himself for the Chargers to go and take JJ McCarthy, the quarterback, which I quite like that. Roma Dunze being taken at 6 here by Gav for the Giants. I take Joe Alt for the Titans at 7. Very obvious one, I think, in my opinion. Leatu Latu goes at 8. Rand takes for the Falcons. Sorry, get my words out. Then Stephen comes back with the Bears and takes Johnny Newton at 9, the defensive tackle. Gav sticks to his guns and decides to stay at 10 for the Jets, waving off trade offers to stick with Brock Bowers, the tight end, and my number 1 person on my big board. Dallas Turner, then the edge for the Vikings at 11. I go there. Malik Neighbors at 12 for the Broncos, which is what Rand selects there. The Chargers obviously coming back down to 13, and Stephen takes Talisa Fawanga, the tackle out of Oregon State. Jared Verse then goes off the board as Gav takes him for the Saints, the edge rusher there. Terry and Arnold then for myself, I take for the Colts, cornerback there. Seahawks then go Troy Fautnau as picked by Ran. 17, Jaguars go with Quinion Mitchell. Stephen picks there. Brian Thomas Jr. then, Gav, picks for the Bengals, the wide receiver out of LSU. I decide to go with Byron Murphy II for the Rams, defensive tackle. The ever-contentious Steelers pick, Rand decides to get us a wide receiver in Adonai Mitchell, the Texas wide receiver. Then Graham Barton immediately comes off the board at 21, picked by Stephen there, to kind of project to their inside line. And Gav rubs his hands in delight as he manages to take Cooper DeJean for the Eagles at 22. I decide it's time for Michael Penix. Let's have a little bit of a stretch here with the Vikings at 23, taking Michael Penix. Then Lab McConkey goes off the board as Rand takes McConkey for the Cowboys, the wide receiver out of Georgia. I trade up then with the Packers, with the 49ers going up there to 25 and taking Olu Fashanu, the heir apparent to Trent Williams. 26, Kool-Aid McKinstry goes off the board here. Gav selects him for the Buccaneers. Tyler Nubin, the safety out of Minnesota, goes to the Cardinals, courtesy of Ran. Then the Bills are up on the board, and JC Latham goes there. I take Latham for the Bills. Stephen then comes with Jackson Powers Johnson to the Lions, and I have a small cry in the corner as that happens. And then Darius Robinson, the edge, goes to Baltimore, courtesy of Gav. Stephen then comes back with the Packers again to take Amarius Mims, the right tackle out of Georgia. And then rounds it all off with the left tackle, Jordan Morgan, out of Arizona, going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Good work there, guys, I think.
Looking back now, the Packers would never make that trade. Just like, no, we're having fashion for ourselves, but all right.
I could see. I mean, the Packers do have 11 picks as well, so I think trading probably would be unlikely for them, but they're probably more likely to go up and down. But I think the 49ers have put a decent offer on the board for them there. But anybody sort of regretting their picks now, looking back at it, or is everyone quite happy with what they've got?
Well, I think it's a good exercise. I think everyone made decent picks, unless anyone's.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if for the last pick, if I should have gone Ricky Pearsall, but
yeah, I
think that would have broken
yeah,
you.
I mean, he's deserving of it, but yeah, Pearsall to the Chiefs, Jesus, no, come on, that would just be unfair. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a solid work all round by everybody there. So yeah, thanks again, Ran and Stephen, for coming on and helping us with this exercise.
No problem. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Great.
it for our draft coverage, Gav. We have reached the end.
I know we've
Wow.
done it.
Incredible.
Wow.
Well done, guys.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's
That's a long slog that started literally the week
Exactly,
after the Super Bowl.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so I
There
think
you
I'm going
are.
to spend tomorrow not even knowing the draft exists, and then Thursday getting back into there. I think it's just time for it now, isn't it? Let's just have it. Bring it on.
yeah,
I think all the final mock drafts are coming out tomorrow. All the experts are all in Detroit. So there's a lot more that's going to come out, but it's anybody's guess, really.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
going to be a wild one, I think.
Well, enjoy it, everyone. I hope you have a good draft evening, couple of evenings, draft weekend. I hope the Steelers get who you're hoping for.
Yeah, unless you're hoping for
enjoy it.
Ramarius Mims, we hope that you enjoy who they're going to get. So, obviously, you can follow the show at UK Steelers Pod. You can follow myself at Mesh NFL. Follow Gav at GM Boom Op. We've already established that you can't follow Ran anywhere, so please do not follow Ran around the streets. You can follow Stephen, and I mean, I've got your Twitter handle here, Stephen. I don't know if you want us to put it out there. But...
There you go. Yeah. That's absolutely fine.
Steve's a great follower, actually. Yeah, he puts out some really, really good content, and someone we're hoping to bring in a little bit more into the UK Steelers fraternity in terms of podcasting.
Yeah, fantastic. Would be a delight to do that. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, so Steven _Haygarth. Well, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And yeah, we will see you after the draft. I don't know if we've got any sort of plans middle of draft stuff. I will kind of have a discussion on that. But otherwise, yeah, we'll see you after the draft when the Steelers are ready for another Super Bowl run. Yeah.
Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah. See you later, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Go Steelers.